Good evening and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Latoya Silman. We began with a lawsuit against the Clark County School District, and it follows an incident in February where a school district officer is seen in viral videos slamming a student to the ground. Our Crisis in the Classroom investigative reporter Tiffany Lane has an exclusive interview with the ACLU of Nevada, the agency that's representing two of the students, and I know that you've learned more tonight.
Yes, so the ACLU of Nevada announced on February 15th that it would be representing the students, including the teen seen slammed to the ground with an officer's knee on his back. It gave the district 30 days to provide them with the police body cam footage and other records from the day of that incident. The ACLU tells me it has not received those requests. So the ACLU of Nevada says it's taking CCSD to court and provided me with a copy of the lawsuit. I have it right here that it filed today. Now let's go back to video of the incident. At one point, it looks like the student is recording with his phone camera when one officer says, "Do you want next?" The student seems to say in the video, "Don't touch me," several times and continues to record when he's thrown to the pavement face down with a knee in his back. Now let's go back to the lawsuit regarding that February 9th incident. The ACLU of Nevada claims in the lawsuit that the district is violating Nevada Public Records Act by not releasing the body-worn camera footage from the officers who were there, as well as other public documents like the incident reports.
So one of the big ones that they're claiming is that it's related to juvenile justice information. As the attorneys for two of the ninth graders that were involved, we have a complete exception to that claim of privilege and confidentiality. So it just wholly doesn't apply to us.
The ACLU of Nevada says it did receive some of the requests it made, like use of force policies, but none of the public records. Staff attorney Jacob Smith, who you just saw, believes this is harmful to the students it is representing and also the community.
Without the body-worn camera footage, we can't see some of the things CCSD has been claiming, the validity of them. So without that body-worn camera footage and the incident reports and all that, we can't really inform our clients of their rights. And then as a member of the public, it's just disheartening when transparency isn't involved.
Now, one of the other major claims in the lawsuit is that the district police chief in more than one occasion referenced a report of a firearm investigation the day before the Durango incident. The ACLU of Nevada claims that this infers its clients were somehow involved with guns. I reached out to CCSD earlier today before the ACLU submitted its lawsuit to see if the district planned to release the requested video and other records. The district provided me with a response it previously sent to the ACLU that says the records are confidential. I reached out again once the suit was filed and have not heard back from the school officials just yet. We're waiting for that right now, but continue sending your tips on this and other issues impacting our schools as we continue to dive into this. You can call the Crisis in the Classroom tip line 702-805-0489. You can also email schooltips@news3lv.com or scan that QR code on your screen. But again, Latoya, this is a developing story and we'll continue to stay on top of it and provide information as it becomes available.
We continue to follow federal plans to save the Colorado River, and tonight we turn our attention upstream to the upper basin states. News 3's Ophelia Young was there when proposed alternatives were announced just last week. She's now joining us live in studio. And Ophelia, our water supply, of course, is under a huge threat. So this is something that you've been looking into for us because a lot of people are concerned about this.
Yes, it'll affect us, but not so much the upper basin states, which include Utah, Wyoming, New Mexico, and Colorado. They won't face additional water cuts according to the proposed changes, which leaves many asking why. I asked that question to several Colorado River officials and experts in both basins. Here are both sides.
We take cuts. We have taken cuts. We are taking cuts.
Sitting miles from the river's headwaters in Colorado.
We take cuts every single year. There's not been a year we've been able to get 7.5 million acre feet.
7.5 million acre feet of water apportioned to each of the upper and lower basins by a century-old compact. But now the river falls short. Lower basin states like Nevada have reservoirs like Lake Mead to collect water. Rebecca argues,
we don't have a large reservoir above us that has regulated the consistent overuse.
Upper basin reservoirs are a fraction of Lake Mead and Powell, and they use the water as snow melts in real time.
Real time meaning what happens in that year is oftentimes all we have.
This is the argument made when 6 states reluctantly decided only the lower basin, Nevada, California, and Arizona, will take on more cuts until 2026.
Well, I say it lets the upper basin have its cake and eat it too.
Kyle Rowrink is in Nevada and says that doesn't hold water.
Is because no cuts are being proposed for the upper basin, and it really goes out of its way to protect elevations at Lake Powell. It puts a lot of onus on lower basin states.
Also on Kyle's side, someone from the upper basin.
We need to share in the pain equally.
Zach Frankel in Utah.
You guys get the short end of the stick. Arizona gets the short end of the stick.
Who argues most of the population lives in the lower basin and we shouldn't have to bear all the cuts.
Will we need to take cuts in the future from the Colorado River? Absolutely, yes. Should they be entirely prescribed on the lower basin only? No, absolutely not.
Back upstream in the upper basin.
What life looks like is that our farmers and ranchers can't farm and ranch, that our utilities have a constant, similar to Las Vegas, constant restrictions.
Talks will intensify.
This isn't the beginning of the end. It's the end of the beginning.
Meanwhile, the federal government wrangling with how to divide those cuts among the 3 lower basin states. If all goes according to timeline, final plans will be released this summer. Those against these cuts acknowledge the solution is temporary, but hope it won't set the tone for the longer-term plan beyond 2026.
A deadly fungus remains in our community, and Nevada had more cases than any other state last year. And now scientists are tracking it in our wastewater. In fact, Kristen Drummond is live in Henderson tonight. She went to a water treatment facility to learn more about a new study to protect families here in Nevada and also across the U.S.
Well, LaToya, wastewater surveillance is not uncommon here in the Las Vegas Valley. The Southern Nevada Water Authority was analyzing our sewage during the pandemic to monitor COVID-19. But this wastewater study, or surveillance study, as I should say, around Candida auris is actually one of the first to happen in the country. And it was led by a PhD student at UNLV. Research by Casey Barber.
But our samples would typically be in a tube like this.
Helping public health leaders address Candida auris, a deadly drug-resistant fungus spreading worldwide and here in Southern Nevada.
So this is where we would do a portion of the process of getting the samples ready for the analysis.
Barber and her team work in a lab at the River Mountains Water Treatment Facility. They started analyzing wastewater last June that was already being monitored for COVID-19.
So this was a 10-week sampling campaign where we took samples from all 7 of the local sewer sheds in Southern Nevada.
Their results, at least 1 positive sample from each facility, and the fungus was detected in nearly 80% of all untreated sewage samples in the study.
So this was actually the first detection of C. auris genetic material in community wastewater.
It showed that it was more widespread than we knew about here in Southern Nevada.
Dr. Daniel Garrity, a Southern Nevada Water Authority principal research microbiologist. He worked on the groundbreaking study that can help establish new procedures and ways to look for C. auris. Now, the team is sharing their knowledge to help other states prevent a fungus flare-up. Which states are you working with?
Utah has been our closest collaborator so far. We're working really closely with Arizona now, trying to get methods up in Hawaii and Delaware, and so it's nationwide at this point.
Making a difference while giving Barber real-world experience.
As a graduate intern, I get to work here with experts in this field.
So, some good news with this study. They did not find the fungus in our drinking water, which means that our water treatment facilities are able to filter it out. Now, I did get some new information from the state today regarding the numbers. I'm told that we have nearly 400 cases of C. auris here in Nevada, with 18 deaths as of last Friday.
Click below and subscribe to News 3 and you'll get more stories about our community.